and welcome back to the Messy Bookshelf. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in December. Get out my trusty book journal. December was a really good reading month for me. The first book that I finished in December was an audiobook, and that is Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. This is the memoir written by Lorelai Gilmore. Well, the actress who plays her. This was such a fantastic book. I finished it on December 4th. I gave it 5 stars. It looked like I gave it 6 for a second, but it was 5. It was just like reading something written by Lorelai Gilmore, which shows that Lauren Graham really was the perfect person to play her. It was really interesting to hear about Lauren's life. There were a lot of things that I didn't know about her, and she was pretty insightful. I definitely recommend this, and I give it, like I said, 5 stars. The next book that I finished, I started in November. I also started Talking as Fast as I Can in November, but this one I started really early on in November, and that is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I picked this up around the beginning of November, right after I finished Mr. Penumber's 24-Hour Bookstore, and it took me a long time to get through it because I was in school and I just wasn't in the mood to read. But once I was finished school, no, not even finished, once December hit, I finally was back in the mood to read, and I managed to get this finished. I only gave it 4 stars. It wasn't as amazing as I was expecting, but I think I had some pretty high hopes from recommendations. I still really enjoyed this, and I understand why it's a classic. It was just a little slow going at times. Now into the books that I read in December. So the first book that I started in December, I actually didn't technically finish in December, but I finished it on January 1st. And that's only because I had 20 minutes left. Okay, here's the thing. I started House of Hades by Rick Riordan back in 2015, but I was reading it and I wasn't overly enjoying it. I think I just finished The Mark of Athena and I wanted to jump back into the world, but I just couldn't do it for whatever reason. So this year I decided to borrow the audiobook from the library. Now the library only gives you 7 days to listen to this book, and this book has 78 chapters, and it's a very long book, so I ended up having to take it out twice, and it was also during a time where I just wanted to be listening to Christmas music, so I wasn't listening to the audiobook very much. So when I went out home to visit my parents, I started listening to it. And I had 20 minutes left when my second renewal of this book had expired and somebody else had already put in a request for it, so I had to wait until yesterday to actually finish it. So I finished it yesterday, but it was only 20 minutes that was read in 2017, so I'm still counting this as part of December since I read most of it in December, and I gave it 4 stars. This series has been pretty much a 4-star series for me. I find that the books are very long and dragged out, but they are still really enjoyable and adventurous. The next book that I read is What Light by J. Asher. This is his newest novel that came out back in October, and I was really excited to read this because I loved 13 Reasons Why, and when I received this copy from Penguin Random House, I was really excited, and with good reason, because it was such a good, cute little novel for this time of year. It tells the story of Sierra's family who runs a Christmas tree farm in Oregon, but then every year from the Thanksgiving in the States until Christmas Day, she lives in California? Yeah, she lives in California to help out with their Christmas tree lot that they have there. So this tells the story of this particular winter, which could be her last one there, and her kind of double life that she carries, and a boy that sort of interrupts it. Also, I apologize for the noise in the background. I decided to film this while I was doing laundry, but beggars can't be choosers, hey. I gave this one 4 stars. The next book I finished is Des and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohen and David Levithan. I was reading this and anticipating 12 Days of Dash and Lily, but I never got to that one this year, so I think I'm going to hold off and save it for next year. This was a really great book to read during this time of year because it does take place over the Christmas season. It tells the story, it starts off with Dash, who is visiting the Strand, just being in his happy place and finds this random red moleskin notebook with a list of instruction and dares by Lily, who is kind of using this as a way to find a romantic partner. So it's definitely very fun. There is this one weird thing that happens that kind of just didn't need to happen. It was put in to get to a place, but that's all that it was. It was pointless in my opinion, but it didn't take away from the story too much, and I still gave this a 4 stars. The next book that I finished is a graphic novel, and it is Paper Girls Volume 2. This was so good. I love Paper Girls, this entire series. This is only the second one, obviously, but the first one was fantastic, and this was just as good. It continues on from where we left off with the first one, so I don't really want to talk about it too much. Just know that it keeps making these twists and turns, and it's so much fun. And it tells the story of these 12-year-old paper girls who kind of get involved with some sci-fi-esque things that come upon them. And I gave this one 5 stars. The final book that I finished in December is Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. This was pretty enjoyable for the most part. It does have some problematic things going on in here that were very unnecessary, and with some more editing, I guarantee probably could have gotten rid of the racist remarks that this has been getting. Although I do feel this is very much like Divergent, and the fact that it's written by the same author just shows that she doesn't really know how to get away from that story. And when you pre-order this, you're actually getting an epilogue for the Divergent trilogy. So I think someone's holding on to their bestseller a little too strong, because there are certain aspects that are practically identical to the Divergent series, and it's a little annoying, to be honest. I gave this 3 stars because for the most part I did enjoy it, but will I be reading the second one? I am not 100% sure. So those are all the books that I read in December. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books and what do you think. And what books did you read in December? I will see you next time. Bye!